You've heard it your whole life. They'll cost you a fortune. But what does that actually mean? Is it the diapers, the daycare, the doctor visits? Or is the real cost something you can't see? Think about it. Every dollar you spend raising a child is a dollar that can't be invested. Every hour spent changing diapers is an hour you can't spend building a business, learning a new skill, or simply getting a full night's sleep. Over the course of 18 years, those choices add up in ways most people never stop to calculate. But if having kids is such a terrible financial decision, then why do billions of people willingly do it? Why would parents tell you it's the hardest thing they've ever done? And then, in the very next sentence, say it's also the best decision they've ever made? The truth is, raising a child isn't just a financial commitment. It's a commitment of your money, your time, your freedom, your energy, and the future you once imagined for yourself. So today, we're breaking down the real cost of having kids, the obvious expenses, the hidden expenses, the opportunities you might never realize you gave up, and the rewards that no spreadsheet could ever measure. Because before you decide whether having children is worth it, you deserve to know what you're really signing up for. When most people think about it, they picture the obvious things: a crib in the corner of the nursery, tiny clothes that somehow become too small after only a few months, boxes of diapers stacked in the closet, formula, bottles, toys, and a stroller that somehow costs more than your first used car. Before your baby is even born, the spending starts. There's the hospital bill, the car seat you'll need before you're even allowed to drive your newborn home, a crib, a changing table, baby monitors, blankets, baby-proofing supplies. The list keeps growing before your child has taken a single step. Then comes the first year. Diapers become a regular expense instead of a one-time purchase. Babies can go through several diaper changes every single day, and before long, you've spent hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars on something that ends up in the trash just a few minutes later. Then there's formula, bottles, baby food, clothes that your child outgrows almost as fast as you buy them, toys meant to help them learn and develop, doctor visits, medicine. It feels like every month brings another trip to the store. And as they get older, the expenses don't disappear. They simply change. The diapers eventually become school supplies. The stroller becomes a bicycle. The baby clothes become sports uniforms, backpacks, birthday presents for classmates, and school field trips. For most parents, these are the costs they expect. You can budget for them. You know you'll need them eventually. But these expenses aren't what make raising a child so expensive. In fact, compared to what's coming next, they're only the beginning. The biggest costs of having kids usually don't come with a price tag sitting on a store shelf. They quietly show up over months and years, slowly changing your finances, your lifestyle, and the opportunities available to you without you even realizing it. This is the part that catches a lot of people off guard. It's not the diapers, it's not the toys, it's not even the stroller that costs more than you expected. The biggest expenses are the ones that slowly become part of your everyday life. Take daycare, for example. For many families, daycare isn't just another monthly bill. It's one of the largest expenses they have. Depending on where you live, it can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars every single month. In some places, parents joke that daycare costs as much as their rent or mortgage. And for many families, that isn't far from the truth. Then there are the costs that quietly pile up. Health insurance premiums increase. Routine checkups become specialist visits. A simple cold can turn into a trip to urgent care. Prescription medications, dental appointments, eye exams, braces. None of these seem overwhelming on their own, but together they become a steady stream of expenses year after year. As your child grows, life grows with them. Maybe they want to play soccer. Maybe they love music. Maybe they're passionate about dance, gymnastics, baseball, or theater. Every new interest brings another investment. Then your family's lifestyle begins to change. That small apartment that worked for two people suddenly feels cramped. You start looking for a bigger place with another bedroom. Maybe you trade in your compact car for an SUV because fitting a stroller, groceries, and a car seat into the back seat has become a daily challenge. Vacations cost more because every plane ticket, hotel room, and meal now includes another person. Even something as simple as going out to eat becomes noticeably more expensive. And somewhere along the way, you begin thinking about the future. Starting a college fund, they may need tutoring. What happens if an unexpected emergency comes up? None of these decisions happen all at once. They arrive one by one. But over the years, they stack on top of each other until you look back and realize your financial life has changed in ways you never imagined. The truth is, most parents don't go broke because of one massive purchase. They spend more because parenthood slowly reshapes the way they live. And while money is a big part of that story, there's something even more valuable that children begin to demand. Not dollars, time. Money can always be earned back. Time can't. That's what makes this the most expensive part of raising a child. When people talk about the cost of having kids, they usually focus on dollars. But the truth is, the biggest sacrifice most parents make isn't found in their bank account. It's found in their calendar. Think about everything that fills a parent's day. Feeding a newborn, changing diapers, waking up at 2 in the morning because the baby won't stop crying, packing lunches before school, driving to daycare, helping with homework, sitting through soccer practice, reading bedtime stories. None of those moments come with a receipt, but every single one of them costs time. And time is the one resource every person gets the exact same amount of. There are only 24 hours in a day. The hours you spend raising your children are hours that can't be spent somewhere else. Maybe that's time you would have used to build a business. Maybe it's time you would have spent learning a new skill, earning another degree, working overtime, or simply getting a full night's sleep. For some people, those opportunities matter more. For others, watching their child take their first steps matters more than anything else they could have done with that time. Neither choice is automatically right or wrong. They're simply different lives with different priorities. Having children doesn't just change your budget, it changes your schedule, your routines, even how spontaneous you can be. A last minute weekend trip becomes something you have to plan weeks in advance. Quiet evenings become homework, bath time, and bedtime routines. Even your relationships change. Your attention is divided in ways it never was before because someone else now depends on you every single day. Some parents describe this as losing a piece of their freedom. Others describe it as finding a purpose they never knew they were missing. The exact same experience can feel like a sacrifice to one person and a privilege to another. Because the value of your time isn't measured by how you spend it, it's measured by what matters most to you. But there's one more cost that rarely gets discussed. Not the money you spend, not the time you lose, the life that might have unfolded if you had made a different choice. That's called opportunity cost. Every time you choose one path, you automatically give up another. If you spend $100 on dinner tonight, that's $100 you can't invest. If you spend Saturday watching television, that's a Saturday you can't spend learning a new skill. Every decision has a cost, and having children may be one of the biggest examples of opportunity cost that most people will ever experience. Imagine a young couple who spends $1,500 each month on child-related expenses. Some families spend less and some spend much more, but let's use that number for a moment. Now imagine taking that same amount and investing it every month for years instead. The difference could be enormous, not because children are a bad investment, but because compound growth rewards time, consistency, and patience. Maybe someone decides not to start a business because the financial risk no longer feels responsible with a child depending on them. Maybe they postpone going back to school, delay buying a home, or pass on moving across the country for a better career opportunity. Those aren't failures, they're choices, and every choice closes the door on another possibility. Of course, the opposite can also be true. Some people become more focused after having children. They work harder because someone else is counting on them. They build successful businesses, advance in their careers, and create wealth they might never have pursued if they hadn't become parents. Life isn't predictable enough to say that one path always leads to more success than another. Every life comes with trade-offs. The person without children may have more freedom, more flexibility, and potentially more money to invest. The parent may have less free time and more financial responsibilities, but they may also experience moments, relationships, and memories that can't be measured in dollars. Because there isn't a spreadsheet in the world that can calculate the value of hearing your child laugh for the first time. There isn't a formula that can tell you what it's worth to watch them graduate, build a life of their own, or one day become a parent themselves. Some returns can be counted, others can only be felt. And that's exactly why millions of people continue choosing parenthood, even after knowing everything it might cost. After everything we've talked about, you might be wondering, if children cost so much money, if they require so much time, if they force people to give up opportunities they may never get back, then why do so many people still choose to become parents? The answer is simple: because not everything that matters can be measured. No parent remembers the thousands of diapers they changed. They remember the first time their child smiled at them. They don't tell stories about buying formula. They tell stories about first words, first steps, first birthdays, and the first time they heard someone call them mom or dad. Those moments don't erase the sacrifices, but they often give those sacrifices meaning. Many parents will tell you they sleep less than they ever have before. They worry more than they ever thought possible. They spend more money than they ever planned. And yet, if you ask them whether they would go back and choose a different life, many would say no without hesitation, because it changed what they valued. For some people, success means building a company worth millions of dollars. For others, success is sitting in the front row of a school play, cheering louder than anyone else in the room. Neither definition is wrong. They're simply different ways of measuring a life well lived. Children have a way of changing how people see the world. Suddenly, your biggest goal isn't just making more money. It's creating a better future for someone you love. Your priorities shift. Your definition of wealth changes. Money is still important. It pays the bills, creates security, and opens doors. But many parents eventually realize that wealth isn't only measured by the size of your investment portfolio. It's also measured by the people you're able to share your life with. Of course, that doesn't mean everyone should have children. Some people know they don't want to be parents. Others dream about raising a family from the time they're young. There isn't a universal answer because there isn't a universal definition of happiness. The real mistake isn't choosing one path over the other. Whether you decide to build a family, build a business, travel the world, or do something completely different, the goal should be the same. Choose the life that aligns with your values, because once your time is gone, you don't get it back. So make sure you're spending it on something that truly matters to you. So, should you have kids? The truth is, no video on the internet can answer that question for you. What this video can do is remind you that every major decision in life comes with a price. Sometimes that price is money, sometimes it's time, and sometimes what you gain can't be measured at all. Choosing to have children means accepting years of responsibility, sacrifice, and uncertainty. It means knowing there will be sleepless nights, unexpected expenses, and moments where you'll question whether you're doing enough. Choosing not to have children comes with its own trade-offs. It may mean more freedom, more flexibility, and more financial opportunities. But it also means a different kind of future, one that will be filled with different experiences, different relationships, and different memories. Neither path is automatically better. The important thing is choosing the life that aligns with your own values, because in the end, money can always be earned again. Lost opportunities can sometimes be replaced, but your time is the one thing you'll never get back. So spend it building a life you'll be proud to look back on, whatever that life looks like for you. Now, I want to hear from you. If money wasn't a factor, would you choose to have children? Or would you build a different kind of life? Let me know why in the comments. I genuinely love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into the biggest financial and life decisions we all face, make sure to subscribe. Because sometimes the best investment you can make is understanding the choices that shape your future. Life is a game of decisions. The people who build wealth don't chase the next move. They play the long game.